Because it is rare you will find a man coming and saying, you know what, I was a rich. I have a problem with loyalty, with commitment. My family was not my priority. I was not trained how to be a good husband. You don't hear that. You hear all their evaluation of a woman after they have damaged the woman. They are kings. They are geniuses at telling you how a damaged woman behaves.
Let's go. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Marriage Matters, right? Boys and girls to the ends of the world. We are here. And I am one of your hosts, Shane, and on the other side is
Sylburn.
All right. So we want to conclude a little more on the last video we started with. Like I said, we've been reactive so you guys can become proactive. All right. And so
should not be a reason to discourage people from getting married.
Yes.
Yeah.
The first thing I want to say, I'm going to try my best to articulate this. Okay. I think that the statistic now is just over 50% of all marriages fail. Right. And the argument is, if 50% of marriages fail and you want to make a wise investment with your life,
right?
Think about what you would do with your investments if you knew there was a 50% chance it would fail, right? Would you put your money in a company that you thought was a 50% chance that this thing was going to go down?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or probably more relevant, because not everybody's investors, would you take airplanes if 50% of them crash?
That's a very good
one.
Right
so like 50% of all airplanes go
crash
down.
Yeah.
But that didn't want, like the other half, I mean,
they're making
if 50% of airplanes would crash, would you still take them?
Yep. Heavy question.
So it's a heavy question, and you know, I really like the argument that's based on facts and statistics, right? That 50% of marriages. So the argument is, why get married, right? Why do we even want to invest our lives in something that has 50% potentiality of failing? That's a good one to think through and to wrestle through. I think firstly though, I do want to say 50% chance of failing, but there's also the 50% chance of it working. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is the other side of it as well. It's 50-50. And I guess another great poll to have looked at, I don't know if it's possible, if such a statistics is out of what are the contributing factors in that 50%. Like, you know, I don't know if a survey or something was done to go deeper to see what percentage of, you know, certain circumstances has there been a trend. What are some of the issues that would tend to this 50% of marriage failing is one of the things I am also thinking about. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's some of the things that I'm thinking about from my end. But I don't know, what are your thoughts when you think about this 50% of failing marriages that fail?
Well, I like going to this topic because then it allows us to understand why people are hesitant in getting married.
Yes.
And you know, in looking at why they fail, you can look at that, and you can also look at why they survive. Why the other 50% survive. And it does not mean that those 50 that survive, they are the best marriages either. A marriage can survive because the lady or even the man could be held hostage.
Wow.
You know, they could fear for their lives, and so they don't dare try to leave. And there are many cases where women try to leave and they lose their lives because the man would follow them where they are and hurt them because if I can't have you, nobody can have
trying
you.
To leave.
So even that 50% that they're claiming works. I have a question as to, you know, the word healthy comes to mind. Is it a healthy marriage? Because is it working because the wife has just decided as nurturers would do, as the curse dictates, the wife just decides you just have to live with it. You have to suck it up, put on your big girl pants, and just live with it. You know how many survive because of that? And so that number might not be an accurate number to encourage someone to get married, because then, well, you know,
True.
how much of those are what I would refer to now as healthy marriages? What is a healthy marriage? What would you say is a healthy marriage?
Yeah, not just one that is surviving, but one that's striving. Because I think just wanting to survive in marriage sounds like, man, you know, and I get it. It's but what about marriages that thrive, and what about getting to that place where marriages can thrive?
Yeah.
So you had a question. What would I say is a healthy marriage?
Yeah, what would you say is a healthy marriage?
I think a healthy marriage consists of two individuals who are definitely growing.
Yeah.
I think not perfect communication, but healthy, intentional communication.
Yeah.
I think is a huge part of a healthy marriage. Just like I said, healthy, intentional communication where taking time to talk about things, talk through things, to listen, and working at communication, because I don't think we ever graduate from working at communication. You got to be intentional. So I would definitely want to throw that in there as a major part. Communication, of course, the husband, as we've discussed in many episodes, him, the predicate of love, right? Like, I think that's definitely like another component where a husband is there for his kids. Of course, he's there for his wife, creating that environment, not just sharpening his gardening skills, but keeping his gardening skills sharp. Those are a few things that I would think contribute to a picture of a healthy marriage. Yeah.
And
so
those are key. Those are key. I have a lot to say about a healthy marriage, and in fact, I would start here, that there are two things that make a healthy marriage, just two.
Okay.
One, you mentioned it already, communication. And the only thing more important than communication, and when we say communication, it's very broad, so we can look at that more directly, but communication is one, but more importantly than communication is commitment. These are the two greatest commandments in a relationship. If these two are right, the rest will fall into place. There was a time when somebody asked the manufacturer, what are the commandments? What are the greatest commandments? And the manufacturer broke it down to two commandments. And so there are many commandments in marriage, in a relationship, but they can all be broken down or squashed, compressed into two. And these two decompress into many that ensure a long-lasting, beautiful relationship. One is commitment, and the other is communication. But commitment is the big honcho. That is the big head honcho, because embedded in commitment is communication. Your commitment communicates something. See, there are many people I meet with who have issues with their relationships. Their relationships have been broken down. They're, you know, that is what I do. I do coaching with this. And one of the things that I have found consistently, and it baffles me, almost everyone that I work with have an issue with commitment.
Yeah.
So we would meet, and there would be an issue with their ability to commit to us meeting. Have you ever driven well, I'm talking to even the audiences out there. You ever drive on the road and you see somebody that just cuts you off on the highway, cuts you off you know, in traffic, and you look at their car and you see this big bang on it, and you think to yourself, I see how I see how you could get your car looking like that. From the way you're driving, I'm not surprised it's banged up like that.
Right. I'm not
You
surprised
know?
at all.
Not surprised. And so when I meet with people, I am actually baffled, because I can see just by their level of commitment to us meeting, it tells me a lot. And it explains to me outrightly why they are not successful in relationships. And they are oblivious to that. And I have to find a way now to say to them nicely, because many times they are so thin-skinned, so soft. And I'm talking about men, because I don't need to meet with the women. I don't meet with mirrors. A mirror does its job. You don't need to meet with a mirror. And that's another topic. Because many times we meet with mirrors and we're scolding the mirrors. You're too argumentative. You don't have any control. You have past issues with men. Your father didn't look after you, and so because of this, you're bringing that into the relationship. No, sir. A mirror doesn't bring anything into the relationship. You think that the mirror brings that. The mirror reflects. If someone treats you like trash, and after they treat you like trash, you've gone through it for 10 years, and you meet somebody who is a good man, and that person treats you like a jewel, you will be able to tell immediately the difference between feeling like trash and feeling like a jewel.
Right.
If you meet somebody new and you continue feeling like trash, then you're not wrong. You're a mirror. If you still continue feeling like trash, there's no difference between this new person and the old one.
Right.
You see? So those are the two biggest commandments: commitment and communication. Let me just say, communication is communication. And communication can be bad and it can be good. Right. Communication can be used for good and used for bad. So when I say communication, you can communicate like a man can communicate to his woman, shut your mouth or I'm going to hit you in it. Without saying that. He can communicate that. That is not good communication. You see? So I just want to clarify, I'm talking about good communication, caring communication. Okay?
Yeah. Communication is important, and I'm even on this topic of commitment and why do 50% or 50% feel according to the data is like it I think we talked about this in the last episode, like how people are saying marriage failed them, right? As the guy was alluding to, and I was making mention, and I re-emphasize it here again. It's kind of like I do feel like the issue of commitment is major. You know, growing up, we grew up very close to a what we call like a drug house, right? And I'm telling you, these guys, 2 a.m. in the morning, 3 a.m. in the morning, they are knocking at the dealer's window. We can all hear in the neighborhood, right? Because it's like early in the morning. I mean, it's foggy, it's due, you know, they're out there, and I'm telling you, they'll be there long.
Wow.
And they're committed to that drug. And so I'm saying, on to your point, for me, I don't always see commitment right away as the issue.
Yeah.
It's what you're committed to or what you are willing to commit to. Because I find people, they are willing to commit to what they see necessary and vital and valuable to life. Like, and I always say to people, like I don't, you know, when I look at it, like, everybody can commit. Everybody has the capacity and the ability to commit. It's just that people will commit to what they see necessary and vital. And if you do not see marriage, you don't see your spouse and your family as vital, you won't commit to it. You say, no, No, that's not the case. I love my family. Well, why aren't you committing to them? Why aren't you committing to your wife? Why aren't you committing to your husband? Why aren't you committing to your kids? Right.
Yeah.
So like the ability to commit to be committed is there. That I've come to find in my short space of life. That's not the problem.
Yeah. And you know, it's not a neutral thing for me.
Right.
I am very biased and one-sided because the manual is very biased and one-sided.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it to be something where the wife is not committed to the husband and the husband is not committed to the wife.
Mm.
And hopefully, if this is the first time you're hearing me say this, I can justify it. Or maybe you can
Sure.
hear one of the other podcasts that we've done and see the justification because of time. But I want to say that the commitment that I'm speaking about here comes from the male.
Mm-hmm.
It's a one-sided thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see, if you have been cursed that your desire is for your husband and he will rule over you, you next to don't have a choice whether or not to commit.
Mm.
So the problem with commitment stems from a husband that is not good. So in looking at what is a good marriage or why do marriages fail, we can look at it from a place of commitment. But I want to look at it and put two statements here.
Sure.
One is a good marriage is one where the female has been careful in selecting a male.
Mm-hmm.
We keep referring to the eagles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing how an eagle can apply more common sense than humans. That's amazing to me.
Mm-hmm.
The eagle tests and carries that potential mate through a series of examinations to let that person prove.
Yeah.
Because practically somehow that eagle has enough sense to look ahead and know this bird brains eagle has enough sense to look ahead and know that I will need to drop my child from on high, and somebody will need to catch it, to catch my baby. And so I don't want someone that is not trained enough, agile enough to do this. And if an eagle can do that, why would a female human, choose a mate without proper testing? You're going to get what you're asking for.
Yeah.
You see? So that's one. A good marriage and a marriage that will not fail is one where the female has been very careful in selecting a good mate. And on the flip side, a good marriage is a marriage that has a male, a husband in there, or a male that has been properly trained on how to be a good husband. You see, you can't ignore these two things and jump in a marriage and hope it works. You know? That's like you put on your parachute and you jump out the plane and you hope it works. That's not the smartest thing to do. It might work, yes, but it's not the smartest thing to do. You see? And so these are the two things to me that define what will have a long-lasting relationship, a good marriage, or a marriage that will fail. The absence of this gives you a failing marriage, and vice versa. Yeah.
Yeah. I love how the discussion is going because like it comes back again to that very important principle of working at it, right? And being intentional about it. Data says that, statistics says that, and all of that, but with the tools, especially what we're giving in these episodes and telling you, and I want to also say, man, I appreciate how you are speaking very firmly and boldly to the men in our generation, because we need more voices like this. We need more perspectives like this that is challenging men to real manhood and real husband. We need it. We need more voices that will be firm to push against the grain. Yeah.
I want to say this as you're saying that, because you're lighting me up like a barbecue grill. And I want to say this. You know how I can come to that conclusion?
Mm-hmm.
There was one time when I would look at women's choices with their mates, and I would see the choice as stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And it baffled me for years coming up, looking at women making decisions that I consider to be stupid. And I would wonder, how can women think this way?
Mm-hmm.
And that alone is proof that if the man is committed, the lady will naturally commit.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen and heard of relationships where a man is out there, sweetheart after sweetheart, side chick after side chick, body count after body count, and he's married.
Mm.
And he might be out there for years prostituting himself. And he falls sick. And that wife will take him back in and nurse him back to health, or nurse him so he have a good remainder of life until he dies.
Right. I've seen
heard
that too.
Yeah, and I've heard stories after stories about men cheating on their women, violent towards them, kicking their baby out their stomachs, breaking them open. You see? One person, he brought his sweetheart at home and told his girlfriend at that time, the person he was living with, his common law wife, I'm going to disco.
Mm-hmm.
And they had drinks and he left with his sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
This is how brazen men are.
Mm-hmm.
I can have you. Nobody else can have you. I'm going to cheat on you. Nobody else can have you. And I see women staying. And I ask myself a question. Why do women stay? It is stupid. No man would take that. No man would accept that. And then I read the manual that the manufacturer has cursed women so that they will be they will subdue. Their desire will be to please. It doesn't say to please, but their desire will be for their husband. And he will rule over them. And then I understand why women are put up with so much trash. We have men that can't even take care of themselves, having 3-4 women. Their main woman is taking care of them, and they are out there rotting about like dogs. Why women stay?
Yeah.
And then I saw the manual, their desire. So I just want to say that is why it is not a balanced thing for me where, oh, the woman should commit and the male should commit and you both commit. Shut up.
Right.
It is not balanced. The male commit because the woman is cursed to commit. So we don't have to discuss women committing. If women are not committing, if they're cheating on you, you are lacking something. Yeah.
I think it's what I hear saying is a predisposition for the woman to commit, based on what the manual has said. And I think for me, and again, this might be biased. It's the last thing I'll say, and then we can move to another section in the video if that's okay. I think, I personally, man, I've seen women stronger in the area of commitment. That's just what I've seen. I've just seen it in my own experience and in my own life. Just to allude to what you're saying, is like they are usually the ones that will try to hang in there.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's sick. It's sick because it is rare. You have bastard men that are out there cheating and are bold enough to complain about their women. They should be out there raising their body count, running other families, sharing the little money that they don't even have to sweet up somebody else to get in their under their skirt. and they're giving their time to that person out there, their finance. And when they come home, the wife must be happy. Sir, are you a king? Are you God? Even God people are not pleased with. There are a lot of people that hate God, whether it makes sense or not. There are a lot. So who are you to go out there, do nonsense, give your wife half your time, quarter your time, spend your money out there on drinks and women, and you come home and your wife must be pleased? You need a checkup, sir. You see? And so it is amazing, because it is rare you will find a man coming and saying, you know what? I was a rich. I have a problem with loyalty, with commitment. My family was not my priority. I was not trained how to be a good husband. You don't hear that. You hear all their evaluation of a woman after they have damaged the woman. They are kings. They are geniuses at telling you how a damaged woman behaves. But you don't hear that they damaged the woman.
Yeah.
You see? And so this is an epidemic, and I don't know how much it will change, but it comes back to the woman choosing properly. Don't choose without sense and then want sense from your marriage.
Don't
You see?
marry a 5% man and expect 100% later on.
Right. There are certain games that you play that you depend on luck. And if the game you play is solely dependent on luck, you have no choice.
Yeah.
But there are games that you play that you can use techniques. You can use skill. You can use common sense, and you can think and you can strategize. Well, let me give you a surprise information. A marriage, you do have to go by luck. See, if your standard of choosing is not commitment, knowing how to commit, loyalty, values, if your standard of choosing is not based on his ability to communicate, mommy, I'm talking to you, woman. If you chose him because he was tall, when he starts to give you trouble, don't complain because he's still tall. You wanted his height. You have it. Don't choose because he's tall. Nothing is wrong with
tall
that.
with problems.
Yeah. Nothing is wrong with being tall. After you see what you like, yes, he's tall, yes, he's this, yes, he's that. And I'm not against tall men because I'm short. I happen to be short. So let me switch that. Don't choose him because he's short. Maybe you're a short woman and you don't want somebody to be twice your size in height. So you go and you choose, I want to see this idiot, but I won't say that. You go and you choose this nice young man because he's short, like you. That was the reason you chose him. He start to pepper your backside. Don't complain and want to get upset because now he's doing that. He's still short. You see? If you chose him because he wear earrings or because he drives a fancy car, then that's what you want to choose him for. Don't want to put standards now. Then is not the time for it. Because you marry him, he's your king now. He's your authority. And you can't go and tell a police, you need to go and get training, sir. Don't try to arrest me right now. No, no, no. He's the police now. You made him into police. What's your thought on that? I know I'm going, but what's your thought?
Yeah, it's quite a timely advice, or timely and needs to be heard in every generation and every minute, because I don't know where there's this notion, and again I think it has a lot that has contributed to it, is the romantic comedies and movies, that you can a woman can basically train or change a guy.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of movies that sell that dream. You know, she met the rugged guy. And we're not saying it's not the exception. We're not saying it doesn't happen sometimes. But if you want to take that on yourself, I want to tell you, save yourself the struggle and the battle. Don't do that, because you may end up very, very, very disappointed. finding a guy, and I always hear it. Oh, girl, you just need to train him. You know,
Yeah.
just train him. He'll come around. You just gotta train him right, and you know, make sure you use sex as an ingredient to train him. And the different things, and trying to cut. Sometimes there are women that want to hold guys ransom in the house with sex, or I'm not gonna cook XYZ, blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
my point is, it comes back to you preparing and studying and seeing who he is on the inside, because like we said a while ago, you can't expect you can't get rid of guy that's 5% and expect him to become 100%, because you are going to make him 100%.
Yeah.
You're setting yourself up to be miserable and fail.
That's right. It doesn't work that way, sir. And in fact, the only thing more I have to say today is this. I seen in movies where there be this competition and this quarrel about who said I love you first. Let me tell you something, mommy. Stop watching these Hollywood movies. Do a research. You do your own research. Check to see if the directors that write the script and the actors that act it, check to see if their relationships are above board. Writing a good movie. Yeah, what you're saying there?
No, it's just on a point. I was literally having this conversation the other day, and I was like, man, people who there are a lot of people who want to give you relationship advice.
Yeah.
And it's no offense, but you check the track record.
Yeah.
You're not really in a position to give me advice.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just my point.
And you know, you still can take that with care, because that person might be somebody that's just not wise. There are people who know what to do and just don't do it because they just don't want. There are people that can run beautiful business and make a lot of money. They're just not interested. And that person can advise you, and you can be a successful business person. So knowing where the advice is coming from is important. If it comes from the manual, it doesn't matter who gives you it.
Right.
You see? So there's a little caveat there that you also have to be careful about. If what you're saying is true. If that person has a really lousy track record and relationship, what business do they have giving you advice? Where is it coming from? Then why is it not working for you? You know? And so there's no competition, mommy. Don't go around telling men you love them first. Let me tell you a little secret. The manual does not tell women that they should love their husbands. It says you should submit to your husband. You should honor, submit, and you should respect your husband. I can't find any place where it says for you to love him. My point being that you want to tell him you love him first. Well, actually, the manufacturer says you should love everybody. Not only him, everybody. But when it comes to him, the manufacturer tells you you should respect him and submit to him. And so you should not be in a competition with who told him, who said I love you first, because you should not even be, that should not be the main thing on your mind. That means you're blind, and you might be choosing stupidly. So my last thing I would like to say today is, who is pursuing who? Are you pursuing the man, mommy? You need to go home, put up your foot, and watch your Netflix movies. Go and look at some Hallmark or something that you can look at the relationships on the TV instead. If you have to pursue the man and run behind him, run, but in the opposite direction. I've heard of men saying, you know, oh, I'm looking at these two ladies, but she likes me, but she has to prove herself. Prove what? So you're a king.
He's the king, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're a king. You are the boss at this financial institution. And she has to prove that she's worthy of your love. Yeah. If that is how a man sees you, mommy, the minute you get a whiff of that, whiff yourself away. And I encourage you, if you don't have Netflix, get it. And watch 2 movies, watch two series.
Yeah.
Binge watch it. You'll be
Mhm.
better off than going with a man who you are pursuing. Because from the minute you are pursuing that man, something is wrong. That is like imagine a chicken chasing a fox or chasing a predator around. That it doesn't work that way. You'll be chasing for the rest of your life.
Yeah, chasing to get eaten.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah, I'm done, man.
Yeah, I think you know, as I'm gonna conclude today by saying so in the field where I'm working recently with a lot of young people, the teenagers, and I was in a kind of discussion the other day with a group of students and one of their teachers, and so that discussion we found out, and we took some time to specifically address the young ladies, and we were saying what we noticed, and there's been a shift that y'all are becoming aggressive toward the men in terms of it's like you're running down the guys.
That's because men are scarce.
And and
go ahead, just I understand we are outnumbered like 7 to 1, 7 women to 1 man on the earth, and then out of the 1 man, so much of those men are not prepared for relationships. So we are outnumbered. But go ahead though.
Yeah, that's a good thing to throw in the cerebral cortex and think about. But we're just encouraging them though, because my counsel to them was do not wear your desperation.
Yeah.
Don't, because if you present yourself as terribly desperate for somebody as a young lady, there are some men who will pick that up and exploit that quickly.
Oh yeah.
You know, and so that was like one of my main points of advice was like not to do that. And rather I said, in dating, you must remember that you are in control.
Yeah.
You know, make it come to you, make it come on your terms.
That's right.
The guys are sitting there probably like, what is this guy saying? But you know, and I'm like, you guys also need to understand this as well. So, you know, in closing, as we wind down for today, I'm just saying, like, women, like girls, like, don't wear desperation. You have value, you have worth.
If you're desperate, go in your bathtub, turn off the heater, take a cold shower, then you watch Netflix.
Double binge a series.
Yeah. Turn off the heater before you take the shower. If you're desperate, that's not the correct attitude to be in.
Yeah.
To look for a mate. You don't want to be an eagle, want to catch a mate to catch your twig, and you're desperate. You're going to choose an eagle with 1 wing. He has to fly with 1 wing on his tail.
And in conclude, like I said earlier when you were talking, making your point about the chicken chasing the fox and that kind of thing, like, don't chase to get eaten. Don't chase to get eaten, guys.
Yeah.
You know, but until next time, man, this has been Marriage Matters. We hope to get with you and to finish the content. If you notice, it gets good. We chew up, we chop it up, and hoping you can catch us next time here on Marriage Matters. This is Shane.
And this is Sylburn.
All right, bless you guys. Later on.
Take care.
Peace.